All right, I'm Eric Keselburg, and this is KeselBricks. I know we've been talking about my Ninjago district and doing a tour and breakdown of some of the modifications and additions I made to it. And also we started breaking down some of the custom city modular builds that I've made. But today we're going to do things a little bit differently. So we're going to look at the city modular builds or the Icon series. I do have almost all of the city modular buildings minus the Fire Brigade, which I'm actively hunting for, and also Cafe Corner. I don't have them all built. I have a town hall unopened in a box. I have a little bit of hesitancy to actually break that seal because I know once I do, there's no going back on that set. And then also the new shopping street I have not yet built, but all the city modular buildings are here. But today we're going to talk about the Boutique Hotel from 2022, because that's the only one of the city modular builds that I really made some changes to. So I'll pull this out and we'll start talking about what I did to this, and you might be able to tell from there's an additional floor. So that's the first clue about some changes made. So real simple to pull out. I don't have these pinned. I just hold them together with the sidewalk tiles, and it should slide right out there. So real easy to extract there. Now I'll just bring it over to my table and we'll talk about the modifications made. All right, so here is the Boutique Hotel pulled from my shelf, and I know it's not a new set. And again, it was released in 2022, and I modified it shortly thereafter when you could still buy a Boutique Hotel when they were available, and I added another floor here, which is the main motivation. I don't know if I didn't quite like how squatty it was when there's only the 3 floors. So I went for it. I haven't seen a lot of people adding additional floors to the Boutique Hotel, but I thought it would really make it more balanced as far as height. And then it also gave me a chance to expand some room in the back end. That used to be the cutout here where the dumpster and whatnot. So I added more there than access from the hallway inside the stairway for the quarters of the hotel. Another piece too, I should make mention of, having a second set was pretty beneficial, because I not only made this, but I also have still extra parts that I keep separated here, because I kind of know what parts and pieces came from the original build, so I'll be able to use those, and I know where they're at when I need access to them. And then also, I'll make mention that I used some of the pieces, Ninjago. There's a lot of the same design elements from here, and then some of the board from the outside reader board there, I also used over in my Ninjago district there. So I've enjoyed having a second set because I use quite a bit of the sand green, and then again, some of those details that I wouldn't have otherwise that I can use in my Ninjago district. So let's do a quick perimeter review of the changes made. And again, there's not a lot of changes here, minus the addition of the floor. I'll pull the roof off and just talk about this real quick. So having the second floor to allow me to finish off the roof line, which LEGO left this side open. So I just had those extra elements, so I finished off the roof line there. I think it cleans it up a lot, particularly when it's set up against another building. Now that it's taller, it really finishes the roof line. So let's bring it around this way, and we'll talk more about starting here and what this looks like coming back here. So the palm tree is taller. I did use some of the extra pieces. It does make it a lot weaker now, but that's worth that's worth it for the height. I just got to be careful when I move it around. All right, so let's break it down, and I'll just talk briefly about the floors. And there's no changes to the top floor at all. Then no changes to this floor, which was the one that just was raised up. So you see all of the same design elements, the same everything from the original set is on this floor. And same with this floor, minus there's a door. So instead of having the window arch here, I made a door which also aligns with the steps coming out to the balcony. So the only real difference there is the door versus the window. So inside is the same stairway, and again, minus having a window there when you access the hotel rooms, there's a door. And just to re-show what that looks like, let's get this put in there. There. So that's how that step down looks like coming from the door to the patio now. So the reason those other color palette was on the doors because it just lined up with that color palette for the patio. So before I pull that, let me pull the tree just so you can see a little bit easier. So I also extended the bar just a little bit on the back side here. It was only on that front side, so I just brought it around the corner because now I have extra space. This little flower wall with a fountain used to sit here because that was the end. So I moved it back here, and again, trying to keep some of those the same or original design elements from the original build. I just moved that back there. All right, so that is about for the balcony, minus, of course, having extra tables, extended bar, and then just keeping the same design theme over the new section here. So let's just pull this floor as well, put back in the light that fell, and a few changes made inside, which aren't a lot. I extended the front check-in desk by just a little bit there because I had the extra pieces, so I thought, why not just make it a little bit wider, which made sense to, or at least more fitting to the space, at least I thought. All right, so the addition, this piece comes off, of course, and the same modularity. So this piece comes off. This is a little bit of a fragile connection because I have it on one stud there, and then just a tile for it to connect to or sit on top of. So that's the roof of this add-on space. And then pretty much this is pretty much comparable to the original build there. So the addition, and it will be a little bit hard, so I will break a wall down, is a bathroom there that you can access from under the stairs, the doorway there, or also from El Cubo, the art factory there. So there's a door from the art store or a door from the hotel lobby into the bathroom. And then I'll break down the wall because you'll see they still have some of the art from the art gallery for folks to admire when they're in the restroom to hopefully make a purchase. So let's break off a wall so we can see inside, and there's a lot of overlapping bricks I see, so this might be a fun one. And before I do that though, you'll see I kept the color palette for the little business and then the color palette for the hotel there to show the separation of what those are. But then of course in the upper patio I kept that color palette because it lined up all the way across there. So you see I just did a kind of combination on the side, but really showing the separation of the business hotel versus art gallery. All right, now we'll break it down. All right, that wasn't the cleanest breakdown, but we got into the bathroom. So here, and the reason it was a challenge is because I used some of these arches just to make sure that that top piece had a place to set there. So the same color arches across for the length of the bathroom. So simple mirror, sink, toilet, and then again the door into the lobby of the hotel, and then the door into the art studio there. And then I did mention the art. Let's see. So El Cubo Fine Art, advertisement for the art studio. There. And then just some art piece there, tucked away in the bathroom, again for visitors and folks to look at next to the art gallery. So real simple build. A lot of solid overlapping bricks as evidenced by how I had to pull it apart. So that is the add-on. So that's the bathroom there. Let's put it back together. All right, and then that piece goes there. All right. All right, so there, again, is reassembled. No changes made inside El Cubo. No changes really made inside the hotel, minus extending the front desk. I did add a small little jumper under the stairs to hold the cart, just to keep it from rolling around. And now I have 2 carts because I had 2 sets. And then this, again, sets up here, original location. Then this one sits right there, again, with that bar, extended bar, and those elements coming around that corner there. And then the only thing I have to make sure I grab the floor with the door, put in there. And again, there's that door. Let's move that. There's that door matching the color palette to step down to the patio. There. I'll put the fragile palm tree back up. That's this one. Again, the original floor with not much changes. Oh, I have a missing piece right there. I'll have to find that piece. Okay, so not a lot of changes, minus the door there. And one missing 1x1 tile. Interesting. All right. So I guess it's a good thing I did this review, because I now have to find one small piece. Luckily I have a lot of bags of extra parts from the original modifications. And there goes the tree. Okay. And then the roof. So again, I think the added height to the hotel makes it look more proportionate than having just the one floor of that color palette there. All right, there's your quick review of the City Modular Boutique Hotel. Let's put it back in place. All right, the moment of truth. Moving full and complete modulars. Slides right there. So that is the real quick overview of the modifications made. Again, I picked up a second set, had that other floor, and extended the upstairs balcony to connect to the stairway on the second floor of the building, but it also added a bathroom. So that's the only real changes I made to any of the City Modular builds. I did think about doing some work on the corner garage. I don't like how the stairway to the upstairs is in the side of the shop, but I never tackled that project. So that is it for today.